and welcome to the yapfest podcast. My name is John Cena! Bum-ba-da-ba, ba-ba-da-ba.
And I'm lopsided.
What does that mean?
I'm just lopsided.
Can we prove that? Bob. What's your name, B.O.B., so they call you Bob? You know that I'm known for the Bob. When you first joined, when I first joined the meeting and you were going to make coffee or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you left the Blue Jay just like in front of the microphone, and I took a picture of it and I captioned it 50K for a verse, no album out.
What I think is crazy is that Kanye almost didn't put Nicki's verse in the actual Monster release.
Which is
because
crazy.
He was like, it's going to be too popular. And was he right? Yeah.
That's crazy though, because like I literally can't imagine that song without the Nicki verse.
It's the only reason why I listen to that song.
Oh yeah, for sure. I honestly, whenever I listen to it, I skip right to that part because I don't care about the rest of it. Pull up in the monster automobile gangster. Fun fact, I can't remember if I've talked about this before. My older brother and my sister-in-law moved to Korea on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, so it's 10 in the morning here, which I think means it's 1 a.m. there. It's a 15-hour time difference, and they're in the future. Like, they're legitimately in the future right now.
That's crazy.
I know. Well, but so we still FaceTimed, though, yesterday because, like, if it's 10 p.m. here, it's 1 p.m. there. But, like, in the future. So, like, yesterday was Wednesday. So we were FaceTiming at 10 p.m. Wednesday, our time, 1 p.m. on Thursday, their time. Which I think is crazy.
That is crazy.
But anyway, life update.
Life update.
Too much change is happening and I'm spiraling about it, but that's a whole nother thing, you guys. I can't handle it.
It's okay. Yesterday, I had an extremely overwhelming moment because have I been hunting for a new job? Yes. Did I finally get a new job? Yes. Am I overwhelmed that I have a new job? Yes.
By the way, it's like 10 in the morning right now. That's why we seem like zombies.
I was asleep 20 minutes ago.
No, literally, I actually woke up at 8:30 because I had shit to do. Because I tore down my whole recording setup. One, because it was like on Halloween. My room is I film in the record in the basement. And that's where my room is, and I have this couch. But for Halloween, we had to move stuff out down here because we hand out candy in the driveway. Kids won't come up to your door anymore on Halloween, by the way. I don't know if we ever did a Halloween debrief. I feel like we didn't.
No, we did not.
There was too much other stuff going on. That won't be named. That won't be named. But basically, kids won't come up to your door anymore, which my house has a whole bunch of stairs anyway, so it's like not safe really for kids. But for some reason, generally, kids won't come up to your door. So we went and sat in the driveway to hand out candy and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so like we had to move stuff down through the basement door and out to the driveway. And I had to like tear down my whole recording setup because it was in the way. Mm-hmm. And then also I had to get ready on top of that. So I woke up my alarm started going off at 8. They went off until 8:30. I stayed in bed for like 10 more minutes. Then I got up and did all that other stuff. Plus, I am doing daily vlogs for my siblings in Korea. So,
Nice.
So I'm making myself a lot busier than I need to be. But anyway, I had to turn on the serve. I think I've talked about this before, definitely. But I really like wrestling. I really like WWE repping. I hope we don't get taken down because her ass is on my shirt right now. But basically, I'm going to explain some of the lore to Ben because if you know nothing about pro wrestling, it's like a culture shock once you kind of get into it. So basically, what WWE and what pro wrestling as a whole is it's basically acting, or no, sorry. It's basically drag with fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how I explain it to people, because, like, it's not just because, like, a lot of them wear, like, really dramatic full faces of makeup, but it has nothing really to do with the beat, to be honest. It has to do with, they're literally all playing characters. That's, like, a really important piece of it, is that they all are playing characters, and that's not who they really are. And then it's scripted. It is scripted, and they're scripted to have these beefs and these feuds and stuff. So but that's why I call it drag with fighting, is because they're literally acting, and they're performers. Like, in-ring performers is what they call themselves. Another show that's actually really good to watch, to see behind the scenes, is it's called Total Divas, and it's on Peacock, and it follows a handful of women from the Divas division, what was formerly known as the Divas division, now is the Women's division, because obviously they've reformed that. Mm-hmm. Thank God. I think
misogyny.
I think I might have talked about this last time. I don't remember if it actually made the cut, but basically, like, it used to be the Divas division, like, since they started having women wrestle on TV. But obviously they've changed it to the Women's division, and yeah. So, but anyway, that's why I call them, it's basically drag. And it's really, really important to remember that they're all playing characters, and their actions are most likely scripted 99% of the time. The fighting, however, like, they rehearse certain spots, and sometimes they rehearse for the sake of, like, flow, but, like, for the most part, that fighting is real.
Real.
When they take a bump, like, if they're coming off the top rope and they miss their opponent, even if they land on their opponent, that shit hurts. They're taking a bump and that shit hurts. Like, and one of the first things they teach you is how to fall. As with most sports, the first thing I learned when I was playing field hockey was how to fall. The first thing you learn when you're playing ice hockey or doing, like, figure skating is how to fall. And that's what they learn, because that shit hurts. Like, and they do that basically for the bit. I think that's crazy. I just think it's really important to remember that it's scripted. However, though, like, sometimes they script injuries in order to write somebody off TV for a while if they need time off or whatever. But sometimes also the injuries are legitimate. But sometimes what happens is that the injuries are legitimate, but they stage it in a different way on TV in order to write them off. So that kind of gets me into basically what I'm going to talk about. I can't talk about every single storyline that's happening because there's too many. Go watch for yourself. It's so awesome. It's so awesome. I'm sorry. I know people are like, wrestling is stupid. And, like, I literally, and it's hard to be a wrestling fan, like, as somebody that's not a man, because I swear to God, every time I try to engage with wrestling community online, I get a man replying to me being like, do you know it's fake? Girl, it's World Wrestling Entertainment. Like, brother, I digress. But I can't talk about every single storyline because it's just too much. Obviously, my favorite wrestler is Rhea Ripley. Her ass is on my shirt. When I started being into wrestling, she literally had just come back from injury. She had a legitimate shoulder injury, but also she had a legitimate shoulder injury, but also she was, like, taking time off to, like, get married and stuff. So she gets injured in, like, I want to say it was March or April. Actually, I think it was April because it was after WrestleMania, by Liv Morgan, bitch ass. And basically, Liv attacked her backstage, shoved her into a concrete wall, and she got like a legitimate shoulder injury. Or I think she already had the injury, but they staged that like in order to write her off. So she was out until July. And then when she came back, and then I started, like, basically what happened was my TikTok algorithm was like, you're a lesbian, started putting Rhea Ripley, like, fan edits onto my For You page. And then I was like, oh, this is interesting.
I was here for this.
Yeah, I was staying with Ben, like, at that moment. And then, like, it was so random, too, because I've never engaged with any wrestling content before that. Like, they just started showing up on my For You page, for real. And so I went down the rabbit hole because I was like, I'm intrigued by this. Also, obviously, she's an attractive woman. But I started to go down the rabbit hole. And eventually, like, I started getting clips, and I realized, like, the week that I kind of started following what was happening was the week that she came back. Like, and so I have to explain this. So Liv Morgan, it's so complicated, actually. It really is. But basically, there's this thing in wrestling called face and heel. And there's also something called a tweener, but that's not as prevalent right now. But basically, face is like the crowd loves you and you're over with the crowd, and you're a good guy, basically. And heel means that you're a bad guy and the crowd hates you and boos you and whatever.
Oh, and a tweener is someone who's in between? Okay.
Yeah. Rhea, I'm not going to go super, super far back because it's just too much. But basically, Rhea and Liv used to be tag team partners.
Oh.
And then Rhea turned on Liv because they had a match for the women's tag team titles, and they lost the match because Liv screwed up or something. And so, or either she screwed up or something happened in that match, and Rhea turned on Liv, and they've been beefing ever since. And this was several years ago.
Jeez.
Long-term storytelling. But anyway, fast forward, Rhea was the women's world champion for 300 and something days. I can't remember off the top of my head. Obviously, Liv wanted that damn championship. And so, I mean, Liv was vowing to take Rhea out and take everything that she loved and blah, blah, blah for like a long time. Okay. But finally they escalated the rivalry to it's basically a main storyline. And so Liv attacks her, puts her out. So they don't always make you vacate a championship when you're injured. Sometimes they let people hang on to the championship when they're injured, but they saw it as an opportunity to further the storyline if they had her vacate her title. So when she got injured, they made Rhea vacate the Women's World Championship title. She never lost the title. She just was forced to vacate it due to her injury. And so the title went to Becky Lynch, who I can't remember if she held it before Rhea and that's why she got it, or because technically she was like the runner-up first contender type of thing. And so it went to Becky Lynch, and then Liv beat Becky Lynch for that championship. So it didn't automatically go to Liv. Technically she did beat somebody for it. And like, here's the thing is that I don't like Liv Morgan's character at all. I think her character is insufferable, but she is a good wrestler. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that she doesn't deserve it, but her attitude makes me sick. I'm sick of her attitude. So anyway,
is she a face or a heel?
She's a heel.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a bad guy. So, but Rhea was a heel, like, when I guess they were both heels actually, like, when she went out on injury as a heel. And when she came back, they turned her face because the crowd loves her so bad. Like, everybody loves her so bad that, like, they felt like they couldn't keep her heel anymore. And also, like, they like to explore their characters in different ways. And, like, here's the thing. It's so funny because, like, she almost still acts like a heel, I guess. It's weird because everybody loves it. The crowd loves it. They love watching her beat people up. So do I. You can go on YouTube and Google, it's like WWE top 10 moments, like all the times that she's taken out men. It's crazy. She's taken out 300-pound men. But anyway, I digress.
I'm just going to say it right here so you don't have to. Mommy.
No, literally. No, but they call her mommy, but like MAMI. And I'll get into, well, actually, I'll just tell you why. Is because basically the faction that she was in before tragedy, moments before tragedy, but basically she was in the Judgment Day and she was one of the original members of the Judgment Day, which is a faction. Dominic Mysterio, I have some choice words for him. But they were together when they were in the Judgment Day. And he started, so Eddie Guerrero, who, rest in peace, people called him Poppy. And so I don't know, it was just kind of like an inside joke. They started calling Rhea Poppy, but then they started calling her Mommy because, you know, gender and stuff.
Papi and Mommy.
Yeah. So, they call her Mommy. But anyway, what was I talking about before that? Oh, so Liv beat Becky Lynch for the championship. And then Liv goes on she called it her revenge tour, basically. And on her revenge tour, like, Dom would come and Dominic Mysterio, who in the storyline was with Rhea, like they were like together. He started coming in, and at first he was very like, or actually, wait, no, sorry, it was the other way around. So Liv came and like helped Dominic beat his dad, who is Rey Mysterio, which that's a whole other thing, you guys. Like, that's a whole other thing. The basis of it is that the storyline is that Rey Mysterio is like a deadbeat dad or whatever, and there was speculation back in the day where Eddie Guerrero was actually like Dominic's father, and that was a whole other storyline. Go look into it. I promise this shit is so entertaining, dude. Anyway, so Liv comes and finally helps Dominic beat his dad, which he claims that was something that Rhea could never do, but she was always like, I wanted you to, like, Liv helped him beat his dad. He didn't do it on his own. And Rhea was like, I mean, I kind of wanted you to do it on your own, but okay. You know what I mean? Anyway, so that's where this kind of, not where the storyline starts, but like the beginning of the end, I would say. And so like, they're like low-key fucking around behind her back while she's out on injury, okay? And like at first Dom is like, I need you to get away from me, like I don't like you, Liv, blah 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 blah. So there's a match on Raw the Monday that Rhea comes back, and Liv helps Dom win a match or something like that. And then like after the match, she jumps on him and she like whatever, and they're behaving disgustingly. And then Rhea's music hits and she comes out, and my wig flew off. Google it. I'm pretty sure it was July 8th Raw. Just like Rhea returned. I'm not positive, but like I'm pretty sure that was the rush. She came back. But anyway,
Jesus Christ.
She comes in strutting. She looks damn good too. And like scares Liv away. Liv runs away. Liv always runs away. Scares Liv away. And then they, either that week or the following week, she comes and cuts a promo and they announce a match at SummerSlam for the Women's World Championship, Liv versus Rhea. Are you Googling what the date was?
So I just Googled Rhea Ripley returns on YouTube, and there are things that were literally posted yesterday.
Oh, okay, we'll get into that. She just recently also got injured, and by the way, that's not a spoiler because this will come out after she technically comes back. I'll get into that though.
Okay, so I'm currently watching Liv Morgan getting someone off of Dom in the ring. Is this correct?
I think.
Dom jumps on him.
What is the date on that? What is the date on that video? Because
July 8th.
See? Okay, but that it changed.
Yep, they're on top of...
I know! No, because worse shit is happening.
There are cameras!
Yeah.
Why is she panting? Oh, here's the music.
This is my brutality! I eat, sleep, bleed, the demons in your dream.
No, because why is this so camp?
I know! That's what I'm saying. Wrestling is for the gay people, okay?
Ooh, and she comes in strutting in.
Her leather
she's running.
top.
She's running. Liv is running for the hills.
Uh-huh. That's what
through
she
the
does.
audience. Ooh, mommy's mad.
And she goes, mommy's back. Mommy's back. That's what she says to him.
See me? You see me? Mommy's back. He has the audacity.
I know! Changed my brain chemistry. Anyway, so sometime after that, they cut that promo and they announce the match at SummerSlam. So Dom is really, really insistent, like, to Rhea that, like, he doesn't want to be with her. He doesn't want to be with her. And there is eventually they cut a promo where Liv is like, she's in the audience or whatever because she won't come near Rhea because she's scared. And Dom and Rhea are in the ring and she, like, Liv says to Dom, like, I don't know, she's trash talking Rhea, which is her trash talk is really crazy. Like, I'm not even gonna repeat it.
Like crazy, like it's good, or crazy that it's bad?
It's out of pocket.
Okay.
It's just out of pocket. Like, but they're cutting this promo and she says to Dom, like, I think I know how you feel about me. Just say those 3 little words. And he goes, I hate you, Liv. He goes, I hate you, Liv. And then he starts like yelling at her in Spanish or whatever. Crazy. And then she runs off crying. But, and so like this supposedly proves to Rhea that Dom is still like on her side. Mm. And everybody, all of the fans, suspicious, were like, Dom's gonna turn on Rhea at SummerSlam. And so, you know, they go back and forth the weeks leading up to SummerSlam. SummerSlam comes and crazy match, by the way. They open SummerSlam and I watched this whole thing live. Okay. Like, I wasn't there. I watched it on the TV, but I watched it live. Crazy fucking match. Rhea pops her shoulder back into place twice. Once she, like, I think she was scripted to, like, pop her shoulder back into place, but one of the times it actually came out. Like, you could see. I don't know if you know what a dislocated shoulder looks like.
Yep.
But one of the times it, like, legitimately came out, and so she actually genuinely had to pop it back into place. Which is crazy. But anyway, so she pops her shoulder back into place twice. Shit is crazy. Lo and behold, Dom betrays her. Goes off with Liv. It's disgusting. They ride into the sunset. Rhea's left there crying.
As you should.
I would sob.
But then again, no hate towards Rhea, but she trusted a man.
No, I know. And, like, that's low-key on her, but it's okay because she learned to
Who, like, literally on camera was panting
on
over
camera.
Liv.
I know. Really what I want to happen is for Rhea and Liv to kiss, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think they're going to do that. Anyway, tragic match. I low-key they're such good actors. I actually got sad. Well, because, like, if you think about it's like the end of an era, really, because they were together in Judgment Day for over a year, like maybe a year and a half, maybe 2. I can't remember exactly, but like genuinely the end of an era. And so, and like, that's just what happens in wrestling. Things change all the time. Like, that's what happens. But sometimes it sucks. Sometimes it sucks balls.
Yeah.
So that happens at SummerSlam. Liv retains the championship. The fallout is crazy whack. So then later that night, fellow Judgment Day member Damian Priest, I love my Puerto Rican king, they call him bisexual Undertaker. Do you know who the Undertaker is? I hate the Undertaker.
No.
The Undertaker is another guy. I don't like that guy. He's a Trump supporter, and I can't get on board with him. Anyway.
Okay, really quickly, I'm going to tell you what I do know.
Okay.
First off, I don't think he still wrestles as Rikishi.
Rikishi, yes! Very good, Benjamin.
All I know is that he has a big fat ass and he likes to sit on people.
So Rikishi's son, one of Rikishi's sons, Jey Uso, comes into play later on here.
Okay. Are those... There's... He and his brother wrestle together, correct?
Yes. Well, so they used to. That's okay. So that storyline is crazy. It's called the Bloodline storyline, and that's a crazy one too. But that one runs deep. That involves The Rock.
I was gonna say, I don't know if it's just because they're Samoan, but I'm pretty sure The Rock is their cousin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I know old WWE lore.
Yeah.
Because my sister used to be in it.
Oh, that's crazy.
But that's about that for that era. Does Asuka still wrestle?
Asuka. So I think she's she's still on the roster, but I think she's injured right now.
Okay. Because I used to watch fan edits of her spitting acid at people.
Yes, the blue mist. I love Asuka. She's so cool, actually. And, yeah, I love her. And, yeah, so, like, old wrestling is actually really crazy to watch because so there's this documentary, I think it's on Netflix now, about Vince McMahon, who was the original, like,
yes.
And he was crazy. Like, you should go watch the documentary. He was crazy. Like, he did the most appalling shit. And like, a lot of it was really entertaining, but like, goddamn, why was he doing all that? And that was like a lot of like the older stuff. And
then the last piece of lore that I know is that John Cena learned Chinese to expand the fan base.
He did. And if you watch Total Divas, he's literally talking to Nikki Bella. Like, he's trying to teach Nikki Bella, former WWE Divas champion, Chinese because they dated for a short time.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. No, I'm telling you, the lore goes crazy. It's so entertaining. It's literally just like... And what's crazy, too, is they film it like it's reality TV.
I know. It's like RuPaul's Drag Race and Big Brother wrestle.
Yeah, basically. Anyway, yes, my Puerto Rican king, Damian Priest. He was the world heavyweight champion at the same time that Rhea was the women's world champion, and he was fine. He was like, he retained his title up until SummerSlam when he had a match against Gunther, and Finn Balor, who is another member of the Judgment Day, betrayed him and cost him his title by putting his foot on the ropes when he was he was about to get the 3 count, and Finn put his foot on the ropes and betrayed him. Which I expected Dom to betray Rhea, but I didn't expect Finn to betray Damien. Like, I thought they were all going to be on the outs against Dom. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Then I realized Finn Balor and Liv Morgan have history together. Mm-hmm. Like, they used to be allies. So basically, the fallout is that Liv Morgan and Finn Balor take over the Judgment Day. Technically, they like to say that they don't have leaders, okay? But it's very clear that Liv and Finn are the quote-unquote leaders of the Judgment Day. Mm-hmm. And they kick Rhea and Damien out, which I did not expect. So that happens. There's fallout. And lore drop before this is that when they were because basically they joined the Edge recruited them to the Judgment Day. And Edge doesn't wrestle in WWE anymore, but anyway, Rhea and Damien were like the 2 original members of the Judgment Day, and people called them the Terror Twins. And so basically after they kind of came out of the Judgment Day, they kind of were working together towards a common goal to brutalize Judgment Day. New Judgment Day. Timu Judgment Day. And so they grouped up as the Terror Twins for that. So eventually they go back and forth for a while. They're having matches. It's kind of getting old. Key moment here, okay, is that after SummerSlam and all of this, Jey Uso, who is one of the sons of Rikishi, he basically what happened with him is that he left the bloodline, and his brother was out on injury, but also they had been beefing before. So he came to Raw, and he kind of was making his career as a singles competitor, because basically his entire WWE career, 14 years, he has been a tag team. Yes. Yeah. Ooh, so
okay, I'm following.
He has been a tag team with his twin brother.
Jimmy.
Mm-hmm. And so Jimmy just came back, but that's, again, whole other thing. And so Jay came to Raw to kind of have it out as a singles competitor. He went after the Intercontinental Championship. But also, like, kind of a subplot in here is that he has always kind of had a crush on Rhea. He's always kind of had a crush on Rhea. And so there's this one particular Raw, I don't know the date, but basically what happens is that the opening segment, it's like Rhea's cutting a promo, and Liv and Dom attack her. She quote unquote gets injured. It's not a real injury. She just like has a knee brace on for a couple of weeks for the storyline. It's not real. Yeah. But basically, like, she gets her foot caught in the rope. And like, I don't know. And then Damien, he's like, I want to fight the Judgment Day. So basically, I forgot this. This is kind of an important part. Finn Balor and JD McDonough are tag team champions on Raw right now. And they're in the Judgment Day. So, Damien was gonna fight them, but he didn't have a tag team partner because he like didn't have any anyway. So then it's already kind of been like a thing, like a little inside joke kind of thing, because Jay did this interview with backstage reporter Kathy Kelly where he was like, Rhea, I'll take you to Waffle House, like we'll have a good time. Like,
Waffle.
I know. And so it's kind of been a subplot that the fans kind of picked up on, and then it was they kind of decided to make it like a little teeny tiny subplot and kind of go with it. They thought it was fun. a little treat for the fans. And so a little tidbit, little treat. And so they kind of perpetuated it. And then that night on Raw, where Rhea couldn't tag team with Damian, she was like, give me a second. Like, I think I've got a man you can team with. And basically she calls Jey Uso and they tag team. They win the match, and like the house goes crazy when they went, because Rhea has a crutch and whatever. So like, it's like, they're kind of making it out like it's definitely hard for her to walk, and like, and so they have this match. It's again, great match, crazy match. Liv and Dom try to interfere, whatever. Judgment Day is always trying to interfere, like the rest of Judgment Day. They're always trying to interfere. That's just what heels do, but like seriously, it's getting annoying. Rhea gives Liv the nastiest spear ever, which is a move. Gives her the nastiest spear ever. Damian and Jay win the match. It's great. It's honestly, the joy I felt in my soul that night was crazy. Anyway, so they kind of have that subplot going where like Rhea and Jay are kind of like, they're kind of into each other right now or whatever. Jaya subplot. That's their ship name, Jaya. And so they kind of have that little moment going on or whatever. And so they have they call it a PPV, which is basic pay-per-view or premium live event. Sometimes they call it PLE, but it's basically like a big event like SummerSlam or WrestleMania or whatever. But they have one called Bash in Berlin, and it's in Berlin. They set a match for Bash in Berlin, Liv and Dom versus Rhea and Damian. Rhea and Damian win the match, and nobody expected that to happen. Everybody thought that there was going to be, well, there was interference, but everybody thought that Liv and Dom were going to win the match, and then at Bad Blood, they were going to fight again, and then Rhea would get the championship back. That's not what happened. So at Bash in Berlin, they win. It's a great match. And a tag team match, basically, whoever is technically the legal man, which means whoever is actually tagged into the match, has to pin whoever is tagged into the match. Like, you don't both pin somebody. Like, it's like, it's one pinfall, basically. Rhea gets the pin on Liv. And she's like, okay, this gives me reason. Like, I pinned the Women's World Championship. No, I pinned the Women's World Champion. So I should get a title shot against her. Like, she's the number one contender anyway. Like, at least at this time. They then, there's fallout from that, whatever. And then they schedule a match for Bad Blood, which was several weeks ago. It's Rhea versus Liv for the damn championship. And Dom is in a shark cage, suspended in a shark cage, right? And, literally locked in a shark cage, suspended. Anyway, and so fans are speculating that Raquel Rodriguez, who is Liv's ex tag team partner, is going to come back and interfere in the match and help Liv win. Lo and behold, that happens because it predictable as fuck. Yeah. So actually, basically what happened, they messed something up, and technically Rhea won by disqualification, but you can't win a title through disqualification. So Liv retained the title. Whatever. As she does. Where we are now is that, they've been going back and forth. They've been beefing. Oh, I forgot to mention. Also that same night, Damian won his match against Finn Balor. They've been beefing, whatever. Damian won his match against Finn Balor. And so Damian is kind of done with that beef because he feels like and so they're kind of, Rhea and Damian are kind of like, they're not going their separate ways, but they're focusing on different things now because Damian wants the World Heavyweight Championship back, which I think now he is going to face Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. I don't know when. But he's the number one contender for that right now. And Rhea is still like, brutalizing, but basically it's not just because it's Liv, it's just because she's over Liv. She just wants her championship back, basically. And so, you know, they've been going back and forth. She's like, and so in the midst of this, I went to the Raw after Bad Blood. And so I got to see all of the fallout. It was crazy. Mm-hmm. And what happened was they were going overseas for like a live tour in the UK. They do that all the time. So they double taped the episode that I went to. So I actually got to see 2 Raws. And so it was really cool. The Raw that I went to, she came out and she was like, Liv Morgan, it's not about you anymore. It's about my championship. And then she and Tiffany Stratton had a tag team match against Liv and Raquel. Basically, where we are now is that, you know, obviously they've been beefing back and forth. The Temu Judgment Day is kind of like splitting off into, it's a very interesting dynamic. Well, so what I predicted was going to happen is Finn and Liv were always like, we don't want to be like you, to Rhea and Damien. We don't want to be like you. There's no leaders. Like, we're all a family. We're all a family. And they keep saying that, but it's like, I don't know. History repeats itself. It's like a vicious cycle with that. And they've all been beefing. Dominic wanted to go after the World Heavyweight Championship. Finn was like, no, it should be me. Like, whatever. Like, and so basically now they're all still in the Judgment Day. Also, Raquel joined the Judgment Day as she's basically Liv's bodyguard. No, seriously. And so basically what's happened is that there's like 2 little groups within the Judgment Day now that it's Liv, Raquel, and Dom, and then Finn and JD and Carlito and whatever. Like, they're kind of in their own little groups. Like, they're still in the Judgment Day, but it's like cliquey almost. People think that they're heading towards demise, which would be fun to see for me. But anyway, I think I did see a spoiler, and this is going to come out next week. So actually it's not a spoiler. I think I can say it, where I saw a video of like, I don't know what happened, but I saw a video of Dom walking, like they had a match or something. Dom walks off without the rest of the Judgment Day, and all the rest of the Judgment Day are like patting each other on the back and stuff. And so I kind of think that like Dom's regretting his choices right now, and like maybe what's going to happen is that you know, he's going to strike out on his own or whatever, and I don't know. I think it's going to be a whole thing, and I'm really excited and really entertained. Rhea gets like legitimately injured again. She had an orbital fracture, like so like basically this bone cracked.
Jesus.
I know, and they didn't know how long she was going to be out for. So they wrote her off TV by, so there's Raw and SmackDown, but there's also NXT, which is like the developmental program or whatever. So like a general rule is the NXT parking lot is never safe. People always get attacked in the NXT parking lot. And all they showed on TV was Liv and Raquel walking away with bats. And then they show like Rhea, like I can't show the video on here because I think it's too gory, but like they didn't show her getting beat because obviously they didn't actually beat her like it's scripted, but they just show her like her car doors open and she's just like, and there's like blood all over her face, which by the way, I'm pretty sure she's the first woman to intentionally use blood on TV in women's wrestling. I'm not positive, but yeah. That's so they crazy. Like, they supposedly beat her down, like that's how they framed it, but the actual injury was something happened where Liv's knee was accidentally up, like it was definitely an accident, it was not on purpose, but her knee was up and it got Rhea in the face. Yeah, so they wrote her off TV for a couple of weeks. Nobody like really, they weren't really sure how long the injury would take to heal because with I googled it, with that injury you could need surgery. If you need surgery, you're out for like 6 to 9 months, which is crazy. If you don't, if it's not severe and you don't need surgery, like the recovery time is better. So I guess like she came back on Monday. Well, so they double taped this past Raw too, because they're giving the wrestlers like time off for Thanksgiving or whatever, which doesn't make any sense because the week that this comes out, Thanksgiving is the week after that. I don't know why they're doing that way. Anyway, but people post spoilers all the time when they do double tapings, and so I saw the spoiler that she came back this past Monday. They put makeup on her. Her eye isn't actually bruised. They put makeup on her and they made her wear like a mask. They made her wear like a mask. Allegedly, she's going to be on the War Games team. So, which means she's fine. War Games is in like not that long. So she's obviously cleared if she's back on TV and everything. So it must not have been that bad, which thank God, because I really I'm really not like, this is not a parasocial relationship, I promise, but like it literally has been keeping me so entertained. It's been like a coping mechanism. And so when she got injured, I was like, okay, nothing to live for, moving on. Jesus Christ. So they're going to do the War Games match and I think it's going to be epic. That's the lore so far.
I have a question though.
Okay.
How do you feel about Jake Paul?
Dude, okay, so I don't like Jake Paul as it is, but like, so he had a match. He was the United States champion for a time. I saw that. And then he lost his title at SummerSlam to LA Knight. Yeah, he hasn't been in WWE since he lost his title. Dominic Mysterio has been throwing shade at him because they call him like a part-timer because he doesn't put in the same level of work that they do. Well, because they're
an intern, if you will.
Yeah, well, they're at the Performance Center, probably like 5 days out of the week training, and like he's fucking dicking around in his podcast studio or whatever. I don't know what he does. Sorry, that was kind of mean. I don't know what he does. I'm not a fan of his, but I mean, it's true. He hasn't wrestled. He hasn't been on TV since. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. Like, I guess it could be that they're just not using him right now because that happens a lot where, they have all these people on the roster, but they can only use so many at once.
I know. I was just looking at the roster.
It's stacked.
It's like 50 wrestlers.
Yeah, like the roster is stacked, but they can only use so many at a time. And it doesn't help that both Raw and SmackDown, I think, are 2 hours right now. When it goes back to Netflix, or not back to Netflix, when Raw goes to Netflix, though, I think that they're going to try put it back to 3 hours. So they'll have more time, but like they already didn't really have enough time with 3 hours, and then they went to 2 hours, and that's not enough time. And so I don't know. It's really difficult. And especially for the women's division, they don't get a lot of time. You know, if you watch Total Divas, they're always like, they have a match booked and then the match before them could go over and then they don't get to do their match. Like, if they're going to cut anything, it's always going to be the women. I'm not going to get into it. It makes me mad in my head. Because you asked me about Logan Paul.
It's Logan Paul?
It's Logan Paul.
Okay.
Jake Paul's in UFC. Did you get that TikTok that I sent you that was like, Jake Paul, Logan Paul kissing?
Yes.
No reason.
And I know this isn't WWE, but isn't Jake Paul about to face off like a really notorious... Is this boxing?
I thought it was UFC, but actually it might be boxing. Mike Tyson.
Yeah, that's facing. Crazy.
Yeah, okay, it's boxing. It's not UFC. My bad, sorry. Yeah, I mean, I think it's all for views, but I really hope Mike Tyson knocks his ass out. Honestly, Jake Paul infuriates me even more than Logan Paul does.
I would agree.
Which is crazy, but probably because I think Jake Paul is the younger brother, so that makes sense. Everybody's been saying for a really, really long time that there needs to be a women's mid-card title. Because basically there's kind of like different tiers and different levels that, people are on. But the women only have the one. That's not true. They have the world championship and then they have just the women's champion. I don't know. I don't really I know that there's a difference, but anyway, but there's nothing really that's like the women don't really have a mid-card title, so they just announced the Women's United States Championship. I know you don't know like that much about this, but like I really think that either Naomi or Chelsea Green need to be the inaugural championship holder, because like, first of all, Naomi has been in WWE since Divas era. She's been in WWE for a really long time. Mm-hmm. And like, I don't think they've ever given her a title. And I think she really, really deserves the title because she's a really good wrestler. Mm-hmm. And also Chelsea Green, same thing. Like she's well, actually they fired her and hired her a couple of times, I'm pretty sure. And but she's actually like, her character is really, really funny. And she also is a legitimately good wrestler. And so I kind of think that they need to put it on her too. So that's my opinion on that. It's not a rule, but it's kind of a thing they like to do to even it out, where Raw and SmackDown both have like their championships are kind of like even out. So like Liv is on Raw and Nia is on SmackDown. And so like there's a champion on each show. And so because I think the United States Championship would be on SmackDown, I kind of feel like they need an equivalent mid-card for Raw, because that's what they have for the men, is that they have the Intercontinental Championship and the United States Championship are the mid-card titles, and they have one on each show. So I don't know. I'm kind of hoping that they're going to announce another one to even it out, but I am also glad that we at least have one. Literally, there used to only be the Divas Championship.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. And that belt was ugly as hell to me. To me. Google it, Divas Championship belt. It was kind of ugly. I mean, I feel like you're going to think it's a serve. For its time, though, like, it was like, you know, earlier 2000s, not early 2000s, but earlier 2000s.
It is given 2000s.
Like, it aligns with that. Another thing that I think is funny about the championship belts is that a lot of the times they'll make the design nowadays, they'll make the design the exact same on the women's and the men's championship, and then change the leather color of the belt. So, like, the World Heavyweight Championship, the leather of the belt is black, and the women's world championship, it's white. Like, that's pretty much the only difference. That's and apparently they're like heavy as hell, because they're like real. You can get replicas for like $500. But also a crazy thing I learned about that is that a lot of the times the champions have to carry their belts everywhere. If they go to a movie premiere, they're taking that belt with them. They're at the airport, they got that belt. That's their part of their carry-on. Well, I guess technically it's a personal item. But still, like, they carry that shit on them. And so a lot of them actually carry replicas instead of like technically the real ones, because the real ones are made of gold and they do have diamonds in them.
That shit's crazy.
It is crazy. And like, here's the thing. I think that you would like it, but it's kind of a lot to wrap your head around.
I would, but like, I kind of just want to watch for the women.
That's basically what I mean, like, there's a handful, and like, sorry men, except not really, but like, there are a handful of men that I like, but like, I mostly watch for the women. You can do that. It can be like, especially when you jump in and they're in the middle of storylines and it's like, okay, what the fuck is happening? Like, that's really the hard part, because you have to wrap your brain around that.
This is like, I love scripted TV shows.
Me too.
That have really complex plot, and every time I try to explain something to like my mom or Danny, he was watching a show with me called The Magicians. Each episode is like an hour long, and there's 5 seasons, and I'm in the middle of season 3, and he started watching with me at like the beginning of season 1, but he hasn't watched every single episode with me.
Yeah.
Every time he comes back, it's like a whole other show. And he truly has no idea what's going on. My mom's always talking about how I just hold information in my brain. And she's like, how do you keep track of all of this? That's what this feels like to me.
Yeah, and honestly, sometimes it is kind of hard to keep track of. Like, I can't always remember all the in between stuff between like PPVs and like bigger events. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But like there's like general plot points. You know what I'm saying? And those are
Yeah.
easier to follow. If you did want to get into it, like there's tons of women's storylines you could follow, but also, like I was saying before, the Bloodline storyline is like there's some deep, deep lore on that one. You could go all the way back to the beginning and then catch up to where we are now. That goes
Mm.
crazy. Like it actually goes psycho crazy stupid.
In terms of wrestling, not people, but rodents, um, it has come to mine and Danny's attention that unfortunately in our old apartment building, there are not many protections against vermin entering the home during the winter. And when we moved, we kind of knew this was a possibility because as we were setting up and like our oven wasn't working, so we moved it out of the way and there were some droppings behind it. But like there was no signs of like actively there was, and there wasn't at the time until earlier this week. We heard noises coming from underneath our oven. And Danny was the first one to catch on. He was like, "Do you hear that?" We were playing Minecraft. And I was like, "I don't know what you're hearing. All I'm hearing is the blissful sound of me killing chickens." And of course, I had caffeine that night. And so Danny went to bed and I was all wired up. And so I was watching The Magicians, as I do. And it's like 2 a.m. and I hear something in the oven.
In the oven?
Not like
In the
in the
oven.
oven, not the,
Oh,
but the oven was making noises. And I was like, um,
I would evacuate the building.
and so I woke Danny up from blissful slumber and we waited to hear it again. And we were like, great, guess we're getting traps in the morning. The next day, I come home from work. I'm sitting watching The Magicians as I do. And I'm like, damn, I need something from the kitchen. I turn the light on and there's a mouse running across from our sink over to our oven. And I'm
Oh,
frozen because it's different from knowing there's a mouse versus seeing the mouse. And I called Danny and I was like, we're getting traps tonight. Like,
we're
genuinely.
getting
We're
traps
getting traps tonight.
tonight.
And so we get traps. We get a couple of the poison traps
Uh-huh.
and just a 4-pack of your standard spring trap, the awful ones. But they
Yeah.
get the job done.
Yeah.
Um, and so Danny places the poison traps. I load the spring traps with peanut butter. We all put them like strategically. Like we're like, oh, maybe it's crawling in from under our kitchen door because there's a little bit of a gap underneath the door, and so like, well, maybe. And so I put one there, and I put one under the cabinet, the only cabinet that has droppings in it, and it's the one from underneath our sink. So we don't
Uh-huh.
have anything underneath there anyways. So
Okay.
it's really not that big of a deal
Oh.
that there's droppings in there.
Well,
But
but
there's
like there's still a mouse, so
well, yes, we like obviously we don't want it there.
yeah.
Um, but like all of our personal belongings are fine. Nothing's like contaminated. But from that cabinet, there's like a gap that goes underneath the dishwasher, and we're like, oh, maybe they're coming from there. There's something like a hole. So we put it trapped there, close it, and we leave the kitchen. Not 5 minutes go by, and we hear whoosh, and so we open the cabinet, and under there's a dead mouse in the trap. Danny and I do really good at like keeping food put away. So there's nothing that they're really getting into, except we had a bag of potatoes on the counter. And so we had to throw those out. Danny and I go to bed, wake up in the morning. There's a dead mouse in the trap by the door.
Another one?
Yes, another one. Just wait. And so we reload the traps, and Danny's doing something on his computer. I think he's playing on a Minecraft realm with his coworkers. And he calls me from the other room, babe, the trap went off. The trap underneath the sink went off. And so we're like, okay, yeah, that's where they're coming from.
That's
They're
crazy.
like getting in from like in and under the dishwasher. But last night, this is where we get the wrestling. I don't remember what I was talking on the phone with my mom about car insurance. As a young adult does go, Mom, how does this work? I don't know what I'm doing. And Danny, he hasn't personally seen a mouse in the kitchen, like, alive.
Yeah.
He's only seen them, like, dead in the traps. And he goes, babe, it's looking at me. And I come in, and there's this mouse that's, like, lethargically walking across our floor.
It's like a cartoon. They're like
it looks like a pet mouse. Like, it's not scared of us. Like, it's just there. It really is at this point just existing. Danny's like nudging it with the broom.
Oh my God.
And I thought he was gonna like have me open the door so he can hit that bitch out.
Yeah.
No. Danny raises the broom over his head like a hammer. The mouse is walking. Whoosh. Danny broke that mouse's poor spine. Bitch looked like the fucking hunchback of Notre Dame.
What the fuck?
Like, it was literally 1 minute walking, the other.
Why did he do that?
Instant death. Literally instant. But I'm going to be so honest. Every single time a mouse dies, we kind of look at it and we're like, oh, it's kind of cute.
No, they are cute. Well, because I had my cat, I think she brought the mouse in, but also then she killed the mouse. She ended up killing the mouse. But like, I have traps in my room for like centipedes or whatever, and they're like they're just like, it looks like a Swiffer, but you just put it on the floor and it's sticky or whatever, and it has attractant for the centipedes and stuff. And so my cat had brought a mouse down, and the mouse got stuck in the centipede trap. So my cat comes down and she's trying to peel it off the trap because it's stuck to the trap and she can't do it. But like, while she's trying to peel it off, she ends up killing it. And so like, that bitch is dead. And it's just like on the trap, and I'm like, this was the middle of the night. I'm like, what the fuck do I do? Like, and so yeah, we had to clean the mouse up. And I was like, I'm glad that it stuck because I don't want it to chew all my wires and stuff. But like, it was really cute. Like, it was a baby mouse. It was cute.
Ever since then, I have hated crossing the threshold into my kitchen because I fear I'm going to walk into that scene from Ratatouille where they go into the walk-in pantry and all the rats are like,
Were you like a little bit afraid that the rat was going to climb on your head and start controlling you?
Got me cooking.
You know what's so crazy is that Ratatouille is not the name of the rat. It's the name of the dish that the rat makes.
Yes.
His name is Remy.
Remy,
the Ratatouille, the rat of all our dreams. My Chemical Romance is going on tour, and I might go. If I can get tickets, I'm going. It's me from the future. I didn't.
One of my voice students is in a band, and they're performing Black Parade. And the thing is, the band's doing it, but she doesn't want to. She's like, I hate this song. Yeah.
Black Parade is the song, right?
Yeah, welcome to the Black Parade.
That's crazy because, like, I just can't imagine not wanting to do that. I don't know. It's just me. I'm emo, okay? I really am. Look at this. Look at this.
On the inside in middle school, I thought I was so alt and so emo. And I'd roll up to school in my plain t-shirt, blue jeans, and highlighter shoes. And I was like, you can't see my dark heart.
No, because I was similar, except like I did dress a lot more emo, but like me and my friends were we were more seen than emo, but like I really thought that I looked really emo, but like, and then I go look at pictures of myself and I was like, girl, like I wasn't emo. I was just wearing eyeliner and a Totoro hoodie. Like,
so many days I would wear a flannel shirt with a t-shirt underneath just so I could take the flannel off and tie it around my waist. And I'd be like, hit the Disneys. Like,
hit the Disneys, hit the Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if I really come off as alternative now even, but like because I'm an adult and I can kind of do whatever I want, like it's definitely made such a resurgence to where I'm like, I don't even care. I'm emo and I don't care who knows. I'm out of the closet, emo wise. So.
I came out as emo.
Dan and Phil are on tour again too, which is just like
it, like truly the resurgence.
Yeah, like
catch me drawing whiskers on my face. Like
literally, I was literally thinking about when I was getting ready about when I used to wear cat ears to school in middle school. Like, shit's crazy. And like me and all my friends would draw like cat whiskers. Like we would literally we would make plans over text to all wear cat whiskers on a certain day.
Thank you for listening to today's podcast. For further podcasts, listen where you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and the like. If you'd like to watch the video of this episode or other and future episodes, go ahead and head over to our YouTube, YapFest, featuring Ben and Lola. And if you want to keep more up to date of what's going on over here at YapFest, hop over to our Instagram, yapfest.podcast. And if you want to see clips from this episode and funny moments from other episodes, go ahead and head over to our TikTok, yapfest.podcast.
Yes, watch wrestling, watch women's wrestling. Woo!
And his name was John Cena.
Okay, bye.
Adios.